So the film happens not today, right now. It concerns a period taking between around 2000 and 2012, a time where a lot of young people were migrating from Dakar, the capital of Senegal, to, Dakar and other parts of Senegal, anybody where they could take a boat and leave, until Spain. And at the time, they were escaping unemployment mostly, and government was definitely not bringing any solution to the youth, and the youth felt really, how do you say, like they had no perspective. I filmed somebody who is telling his own true story, his own crossing of the sea from Dakar to Spain, and I thought I should probably write a film about the girls who stay behind, because we've heard, at least through Atlantics the short, I was able to light and to capture the story of a crossing. But what would this girl have to say? What would his sister who stayed behind have to say? I also could see myself. It was also a way for me to tell what was my feeling about this lost youth, about this lost generation. I was absolutely powerless in front of the power of attraction these kids had for Europe. I think that it mostly comes from what I felt about that situation, and I think it was a way to write it through me, and it felt quite natural also that my first feature would be the main character of my first feature would be a young woman. The Atlantic, for example, is this territory between my African and European culture, and it's really the back and forth dynamic. Migration is not only about living; it's also about returning. And I'm first the daughter of an immigrant. I was brought there when I was a kid, then I didn't go for more than 10 years. When I decided to go back to Senegal, I kind of met a youth that was running away from a place I was going back to, and I think that's kind of like, it's a shock, It's and because I was going there with a total freedom of circulation, and these kids could not coming to Europe except being considered as criminals, which took me a while to deconstruct, because we don't question that much our privilege. All the images I've accumulated through my youth, both internally, like coming from a very, very creative family. I've grown in a world of images, from my mother being a photographer, having hundreds of photographers' book at home, traveling a lot, going back from Europe to Africa, but also other countries, and the films of my uncle, and then all the films I've discovered in parallel. It's a universe and a texture and a personal visual language I've been building since forever. I think I was interested to capture the fantasy aspect of a certain African reality, and that the main motor of the film was to talk about how these women who stayed behind these men who leave are both haunted by the absence of these men and how the absence of these men confront them to their own life and their own everyday life. It's definitely a political film. Not only the subject, but the way it was shot, the way it was taught, the people I chose to do it with me, the way it was done. I think I really want to give them a lot of space, of freedom, I really think it's important to as a spectator to feel displaced, to really I think the film is really an occasion to reconsider some different elements. The eye on migration, the being able to, as a white audience, to identify to black characters. It's a film that both takes place in a very specific place, but that anybody can identify to.